Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Reviewing Comics with me, your host, Alexander Turbin. Today we're going to be going over a brand new comic, Transformers, number 17. But before we get into that, I'd like to show you some of my own work. This is Random Access. It's a full-size, full-color comic, and it comes out monthly, and we're up to issue number 28, I believe. And you can get these at patreon.com/Alexander Turbin, or you can go to my website, alexanderturbin.com, and you can check these all out. At alexanderturbin.com, there's also Mutandis, Forlorn, all kinds of other comics that I've done in my my comic book making career so far. And you can check those out there, or you can message me at alexturbin0441@yahoo.com, which is my email, or alexturbin0441 at Instagram. So, but also, I want to remind you guys to vote on your favorite artist. Is it David Mazzucchelli or is it Michael Turner? Check those out. I have a post out, which is a poll, and we have 14 or 15 votes right now. And if you want one of these guys to win in our poll, then check it out. I'm gonna try to put that in the description, and we'll see who wins and who loses. So Transformers. I got this because, as you know, one of my things that I'm going to be doing from now on is I'm going to be reviewing new comics as well as old indie comics, and doing all kinds of stuff like that. And it's a mixed bag. It's not a mixed bag. It's a really good comic. It's a mixed bag as far as new comics because it's expensive to buy them, obviously. And I don't know if you guys are into the new stuff or whatever, but I asked the owner of my LCS what is the most popular comic book right now, and he said Transformers and or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So I probably will pick up a copy of Turtles next week, which will be interesting. As for Transformers, I am a big Transformers fan, but I'm not a crazy Transformers fan. There's some people that collect all of the figures and have all of the movies on DVD, Blu-ray, and have posters and figurines and stuff like that. And I don't have anything like that. However, I do enjoy watching the movies. I think some of them actually they get worse and worse as they go along. I have not watched the latest one, Prime, but I also watched. I've watched all of the original generations back in the 80s, whatever. I'm not a huge fan of the original series. The movie, I just was not really tied into the Transformers universe that much when the movie came out, so I don't have that heartfelt kind of connection to it. I did watch all of Beast Wars, and I loved it. That's probably my favorite series of all of them. And the fact that Optimus Primal kind of dies in the end. I don't know if they really die. Does Optimus Prime and Optimus Primal really die? Don't they come back? So they're kind of like regular comic book characters that way. But so I have seen quite a few of the series, and I have seen quite a few of the I watched Beast Machines. So I'm not like a super fan, but I am quite a big fan actually. I have a few comic books, not too many, and maybe I'll go back and look at those back in the 80s there. I have like 5 or 6 copies or something like that. So one of the things being a super Transformers fan is that I don't recognize the characters right away. Sometimes, is this Starscream? I assume it is. Some of the characters I do, obviously Optimus Prime and stuff like that, Megatron and whatnot. But some of the lesser known characters, I do know Soundwave because he's actually my favorite Transformer. And Shockwave, he always had that whiny, nasally voice, and I could never really take him seriously. He sounded just too much like the Cobra Commander. Is it the same voice, same actor, same voice? I just was not really impressed by the voice and the mannerisms of Starscream. He just did not seem very serious to me, and I feel like the Decepticons should be serious. If they're the bad guys, they should be serious, but I digress. So that is my Transformers history. If you guys love Transformers, let me know. Let me know what you think. If you've read this, let me know what you think. I have not read any. This is my first issue of this series, so I'm probably missing a lot of stuff. And so if I'm missing anything that I get wrong or whatever, please let me know in the comment section. I love to hear from the comments that you guys give. The writer is Daniel Warren Johnson, and the artist is Jorge Corona, and the colorist is Mike Spicer, and the letterer is Russ Wooten. The colorist, in so many comics, the colorist is not really specified, or he's specified. They're specified, but they're not appreciated. And if it's a comic book that is kind of there's no super colors going on, then I can understand that. If it's just kind of I'm not gonna say bland, but if it's like a medium comic book with medium colors and it's that's just not the specific thing that's being shown. But this comic book, the colors, not so much in the beginning, towards the end, really shine, and it's really nice to see this Russ Wooten get his due, because he does such a great job. I wish they would tell you how it's being colored, though. I wish they would tell you in the beginning of the comic. If it was Russ Wooten, I wish it would say, watercolorist or digital coloring or digital painting or something like that. I'm quite sure it is digital coloring, and there's nothing wrong with that. I do digital coloring, and I enjoy a lot of digital coloring. But I just kind of wish they would throw that in there as an aside thing. For the covers, they have way too many alternate covers. This is a huge thing in comic books. Excuse me. I don't know if it's good. I don't know if it's bad. We're probably going to have maybe me and Joe will have a discussion about that. Alternate covers and whether they're good or bad for the comic book industry or whatnot. I know a lot of people have very strong feelings about them, and I don't know. As long as people are buying them, they're going to make them. So I guess there's not a whole lot to talk about there. But there's way too many. There's like 25 alternate covers for this issue, and I just don't get it. So anyway, let's start with it. I'm not gonna backtrack. I'm not gonna talk about the story and then backtrack, talk about the art and the writing. I'm gonna try to do that all at once, as I do with the new comics. I like to backtrack. I like to tell the story kind of a little bit more slowly and concisely with the indie comics, because I kind of feel like these people are putting their heart and soul into this project. I mean, these people. They're doing that. They've got skills. They've got artistic abilities. They're putting a lot of energy and effort into these comics, and I totally appreciate that. But they're also getting paid, and so you have that that dual sense of satisfaction of you're getting a good amount of money to do these pages versus they're doing it for free. They're probably losing money to make this comic book. So it's a little bit of a different kind of feeling, and it's a little bit of a different kind of thing. So I think it's Starscream, and he's saying, "I'm coming, brother." So he's trying to find somebody, and I assume that it's Earth. I don't know. They are really good about saying the locations of where everything happens, and I really appreciate that. But I do wish the beginning had a little blurb of some of the things that's happening, because I really don't know. I'm a first-time reader. Issue 17 is my first one. I know the characters, but what if I didn't know any of the characters? Some explanation of the characters and stuff would be nice. But Starscream, there's a ship. I assume it's a crash ship, either Decepticon or Autobots, and he's trying to find his friend. I assume I'm coming, brother. Skywarp. He's trying to find his friend Skywarp, and he goes into this ship, and he does find Skywarp, and Skywarp is intertwined into the connections of the spaceship, and Starscream. I think he's Starscream. The problem is there are a bunch of jets that all look the same, and maybe they're different colors. TV show, you got the whiny voice, and then the other ones aren't whiny or whatever. This, you don't have that luxury of having the voice acting and stuff. So it's the colors. Was he red or was he blue? I can't remember. Anyway, let me know. No, it's Thunder. Thunder? So it's not Starscream, it's Thunder. Who's Thunder? I don't know who Thunder is. He tries to rip him out, and he says, "No, I'm intertwined too much. If you try to break me free, then I'm going to die." And so Thunder, I don't know who that is. Thunder. I don't know who Thunder is. So he backs off, and he's going to try to find another way to free his friend. Are they Decepticons? Are they Autobots? I'm not entirely sure. So then it switches to another scene, San Juan Islands, and there's two human figures, and these are the two only humans that I've seen in the book, and they're really very sparsely in the book, and that's really kind of cool. I almost like the fact when there's less humans and more Transformers in my stories. I don't know, the humans, they just seem so delicate and easily killed, and yet they kind of, it's like Marky Mark there, Mark Wahlberg, or what's his name, they're on top of these skyscrapers getting thrown around, and if you were on top of a skyscraper and you were falling, you would either have a heart attack and die, or you would pass out. There's just no getting around that. I went skydiving when I was in my mid-20s, late 20s, something like that. And as soon as I let go of the, jumped out of the plane, I passed out for maybe 10 or 15 seconds. So that's kind of what happens. And I mean, I had a parachute on, and I knew exactly what I was doing, and everything was completely safe. Imagine not having a chute, and you're up on a skyscraper, and Transformers are blasting around. You're gonna have a heart attack, and you're gonna die. So anyway, they're with these two other Autobots, and they're looking for somebody. A lot of this is they're looking for somebody. They're not looking for. I think it's Ultra Magnus. Who is Ultra Magnus? They say Magnus at some point, and I think it's Ultra Magnus. So I don't know all of these characters. So when they say a part of it, I don't really know exactly who they're talking about. And I can't remember these wheel something, I guess. But anyway, they're having a discussion. He's saying that he is happy to be off looking for her friend rather than fighting the Decepticons, because he doesn't have any kind of desire to fight anymore. He's had some sort of life-changing experience, and he's not really looking for any kind of confrontation or fighting with any kind of Decepticons. And so it has a really nice scene where it shows him looking, into the wilderness or whatever, and it flashes back, and there's like fire going off on the screen of his helmet and stuff, and that's really cool. It's a cool flashback way to do the flashback, and sometimes I get confused and don't know if that's exactly what's happening in a comic book. So anytime that I see a really good flashback, like you can see his face, he's looking wistfully at something. He says, "Before we hit Earth, I remember," and then it's the same scene, same helmet, and it's different. This is like a scenery with plants and water and trees and stuff, and this is all fire and battle stuff. And so he's remembering fighting with the Decepticons, and really that's part of the great writing. There's some really fantastic parts of this writing. The plot is it's a little simple. I'm gonna say it's simple, but there's things going on in different parts of the Earth and on Cybertron, so it's a little bit hard for them to juggle things that are going on. But also, I really like the dialogue. The dialogue is really nice. It's really fun and really concise, and really they have their individual voices. They talk in a natural tones. Even though they're like robotic or whatever, they're believable. That's probably the number one thing in dialogue, is it has to be believable, and it's a little bit nuanced. So that adds to the believability when you have something like some little type of dialect or something like that. That just adds to the believability. As for the art is really nice. It took me a while. And a lot of times when you're looking at a new comic book artist, you don't really know what you're seeing because everything just kind of gets thrown at you. Boom. You're like thrown into this universe. You're thrown into these characters, and you just have to delve into the comic book to really see what's going on. I see a lot of John Romita Jr. influences. I have no idea if this guy was influenced by John Romita Jr., this Jorge. But he's so much of it, the stuff looks like a John Romita Jr. Not so much these faces, but like a lot of, especially this. This here looks so much like a John Romita Jr. panel. And the thing that's a little bit different about this than JRJR is that his lines are quite a bit bolder. And so his inking is quite a bit more, heavier than John Romita Jr. Of course, he usually doesn't ink his own stuff. He has other people ink it. But he's not like a heavy black user on his inks. And this guy, Jorge, he's using some pretty heavy, thick lines, almost like he's outlining everything after he goes on to it. But I love his line thickness and his textures. He's got a lot of nice textures. And also, he makes his Transformers look really weathered. Like they have been through battles. They've been through multiple battles. They've been through multiple fights. They've aged. They've weathered. They're not always looking new like in the movies. They often, they transform and they're brand new again. So I mean, maybe they're regenerative and stuff, which makes sense. But at the same time, I kind of like to see an old, battered and beat up Transformer, which is cool. So he's having his flashback, and this is probably my only problem with the whole story, is that they're in a fight on some starship or something, and a hole gets blown open into the galaxy, and he sees into the galaxy and the stars and the planets and stuff, and he thinks that their confrontation seems so small and insignificant compared to the entire universe. So that's when he just decides to stop fighting altogether. Even though his friends are probably dying and getting shot at as he does this. I don't know. That's very, I don't know. It just seems a little basic. It seems a little like, I mean, it's possible, I guess. He just has this this midlife crisis kind of thing going on, or this life crisis. And I mean, it's possible, but it feels like if you're going to have him become a pacifist as a Transformer, and his friends are being killed, and the Decepticons are trying to rule the universe and all that and stuff, it feels like it should be a heavier duty kind of altering experience. Like maybe his friend dies because they're in battle or something. I don't know, something like that. But so it's not horrible. It's just rather weak, I think. So she's just trying to figure out what's going on. And then the human just kind of says, "Look out," or she screams it. And some kind of energy weapon or blast or something hits them, and they go flying into the water, into the river or whatever. And the Autobots are trying to save their human friends and stuff. And this is really where the coloring shines by this Mike Spicer. Mike Spicer really shines, and he's really given the leeway to shine by the story and the art and stuff, because it looks really nice. This cold, almost Arctic weather in the river basin or the river side, and it's nighttime, and he's got this really nice moody night sky and the moon and stuff, and then it's blasted by this orange yellow fiery death, and that really it's really exciting. And the letterer does a really good job with these sound effects too. They're a little bit different. It's a little bit different, but these are kind of normalish, but that's nice, and I just really like it. Also, one of the things that I'm going to mention is the page, not the layout, but the size, the dimensions of the pages. Like some of it is inside the regular comic book panels, and then the rest of this is outside, like it's a full bleed onto the rest of the comic book pages, and some of them are complete full bleeds onto the comic book pages, and then they go back to the regular comic panels. So having this variety, it can really add to the explosiveness of the scene, or add to the tight quarters of the scene. You know, if you want something a little bit more tight knit, you put it in a panel, you put it in a box. If you want something to explode, you throw it off onto the panel bleed. So then they find whoever they're looking for. But I don't know who this is. Anybody know who this is? They said Magnus at the beginning because he left, and apparently he's gone crazy because he says he's making a fort for himself to feel safe, and it's just like a bunch of wood, a bunch of boards, and some wood and stuff. Some spikes made out of logs and stuff like that. Nothing that would stop a Decepticon by any stretch of the imagination. And then it zips to Cybertron, next scene, and I don't know who these characters are. I can't remember them from reading it. I'm sorry. My memory is kind of wonky, where I can't remember a lot of stuff. Sometimes I can remember specific details of something, but then a lot of times, like, I can't, if I met you and then we didn't see each other for a couple days or whatever, I wouldn't remember your name. It's just how my brain is wired. Some things I remember, some things I don't. Like, I have a really great long-term memory, as far as I think, and can remember some minute details about a lot of things, but it depends on the context, I guess. So what I'm gathering from this is that Optimus Prime left the Cybertron because he was having a crisis, and he didn't want to fight the Decepticons anymore. But the Autobots that stayed there were still fighting the Decepticons, and then Optimus came back with some sort of weapon, or he defeated some Decepticons or something like that, and he gave them a chance. So one of them is very angry at Optimus for leaving, and the other one is like, he gave us this opportunity to fight back, so we need to use this opportunity to kind of go and do what we're supposed to do. And so one of the opportunity is that through using different sparks of apparently dead people or dead Transformers or something like that, they combine them and they put them in this machine or something like that, and it creates a new Transformer. Spoilers, that's what happens at the end. They create a new Transformer. Which is really cool. So this is a key issue. If you guys are looking for keys, this is obviously a key issue. Anytime a new character is introduced in a comic book, it has the possibility of being a key. If he is in the new movie, next movie, or whatever. They have this whole discussion about who's gonna, are we gonna use this opportunity to fight the Decepticons and use this new ability that we have to create more allies to help the fight and help the war and stuff. So it's really like a rah kind of moment for the Autobots. And then it goes back to apparently where Optimus Prime is. So it's very much like a soap opera. In a soap opera, whenever two people are talking about a character, the next scene will automatically feature that character, will be the very next scene. So that's what they're doing here. They're talking about Optimus and what's going on. And then, so the next scene, they're talking about Optimus and what he's doing. And they're on Earth, and apparently Seattle is being attacked by Decepticons. So they're going to Seattle, and they're trying to save as many people as they can. But then it goes back to Cybertron, and it doesn't always flip back and forth. Or when it does, it doesn't actually say that it's Cybertron or Earth or whatever. But you kind of know, because now you've got a feel for the characters. Now you know who's who. Now you know Optimus and his friends are on Earth near Seattle, whatever. And you know that the pink Transformer is on Cybertron, and they're doing their thing in Cybertron. So they attacked the Decepticons. Apparently, they need to find something or do something in order to activate this new machine. And so they attack. Another fantastic way that the colorist just blows everything up. This awesome yellow and orange and the artists, I'm wondering if they're working together hand in hand, the colorist and the penciler and inker rather. They're working together in tandem because it works so well. Maybe they just have a feel for working together, which is fantastic. And so the Decepticons are itching for a fight, and so they're happy because they're a little bored or whatever. Autobots attack, and they have a little bit of a fight. So as any Transformers comic book or story, whatever, it's mostly fighting of Autobots and Decepticons. And this is really great. Scenery, the artist, the penciler, inker, he's doing a fantastic job. Everything is really concise and clean and neat. In as far as narrative art and style, I fully appreciate it, and I really enjoy it. I didn't have to look back or get lost or anything like that. And again, the colorist doing a fantastic job. These blues, greens, and purples, transposed against these blacks and yellows. It's really a fantastic job with the coloring. The coloring might be my favorite part of the comic book. But apparently they're breaking into this Decepticon stronghold to find whatever machine that they need to find, and sparks needed for a creation event. I don't know if Optimus gave them sparks or he gave them the knowledge to do this. I kind of might have to go back and get 16 and 15 and see what's what. I don't know if I'm really that invested into this or not, because I mean, like I said, it's a $4 comic book, and I'm pretty cheap. So, a comic book has to grab me. It has to keep me, has to hold me in order for me to spend my $4. Or I'm just going to go back into the dollar bin and go dollar diving and find something, interesting and unique there. So they type in the coordinates, they do, and they put in the sparks, and they do all that stuff. And then it transfers back to the other scene where it's in Seattle, and the Decepticons, it's actually Bruticus and whoever this other big guy is, where it's, a whole bunch of Transformers put together to create a big Transformer. I always loved those. Those were always my favorite, even though I never actually had one. I think that was my problem. I never actually had any Transformers until I was like late junior high, and that was when I found it, and that's when I found Soundwave, and that's why he became my favorite Transformer. I mean, I always watched the TV show, but I never really had any of the action figures. I was too stuck on Star Wars and stuff like that, superheroes and stuff. So maybe that's why I don't have the innate connection that a lot of people do to the Transformers. Anyway, it's Bruticus and the other Decepticon, and they're fighting, and Optimus and his friends are just they're not even into the fight because they know that these guys are too big, that they're just trying to save human beings. So they're just running around, trying to save as many people as they can. And they do. Optimus hops in, gets a couple humans in in his thing, and they're like, "Who are you?" And he says, "Optimus Prime." So his window smashed in. Are his windows regenerative? Are the Transformers regenerative? Somebody tell me who's a Transformer nut out there. So they save as many people as they can, and there's still that battle going on when it switches to Cybertron, and it's like they're having a dichotomy. I don't know if that's the right word. Is that the right word, dichotomy? It's a distinction between this destruction and the Decepticons creating wrecking havoc on Seattle, and then it goes to Cybertron, and they're trying to create a new life with these old sparks. So whoever this is, I don't know what his name is, and they're trying to do this. They put in all of the sparks and all the input, all of the information and stuff, and he finally does it, hits the button, and boom, a new Transformer is created, and he says, "My name is Shredhead." So Shredhead is a new Transformer. I don't know if they how they usually introduce Transformers, if they are just sometimes lost in, they're lost in time and space and stuff like that, and then they just kind of join either an Autobot or Decepticon or whatever. If you're a Transformers fan, let me know. But so there you go. There is Shredhead, and he's a new Transformer, and this will be a key eventually. So keep it for 50 years, and you'll have yourself a real collector's item here. Transformers number 17, brand new comic, came out either this week or last week. I think it might have come out last week. And I enjoyed it. I'm going to give it a review of an 8. I really enjoyed the art, especially the coloring. I really enjoyed the writing. I was a little bit lost with the characters. I wish they would kind of let me know a little bit more intricately on who the characters exactly are. And especially since so many of them are the same. Like if it's a car, there's like lots of different basic car models that are Transformers, and you can only tell them difference by their voice and their color. And so if you don't have the voice, you only have the color. So anyway, I'm giving this an 8. I really did enjoy it. Am I going to get another copy? I'm probably not. So that usually goes me a base 7, but I'm not going to not get it because I didn't enjoy it. I'm going to not get it because I'm not a huge Transformers fan. And to get into that whole world, I would want to get all previous issues and all this stuff. And I'm just not there. I mean, there's enough, I've been exposed to enough Transformer stuff to know what I like and I don't know, just not, I'm not going to overdo it as a Transformer fan, which is the way that I am. I'm not a hardcore to be precise exactly. So I did enjoy it. Not going to get another one. Maybe down the line I might check in and see what happens if something exciting happens. But if you're new to the channel and you like this kind of content, I usually go over early 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s, indie comics, black and whites, weird, different stuff like that. But I also do new comics. I think Fridays is going to be my new comic day, where I go and get a new comic on Wednesday and kind of try to show you guys some of the stuff you might be missing out if you're old like me and you haven't gotten a new comic in a while. Maybe this might spark you into seeing something that you want to see, getting something that you want to see rather. So anyway, please hit the subscription button if you're new, and the notification button and all that cool stuff. But more than that, I really love comments from you guys. I really love talking about comic books and hearing what you guys have to say. And I love your little information that about a comic book, a creator or something that I don't know about. I love that new information, and it gets stored into my memory banks, and it'll go into one of these videos. You can be rest assured. So especially, did you like the art? Is it something that you've seen before? This Jorge Corona, I might check him out and see if he's done other stuff, and see if it's something that I like. But I did enjoy it. I'm giving it an 8, and it was good. And I will see you guys next week. But I'll probably be doing a live stream on either tomorrow or Sunday with my good friend Joe. And I'm not sure what we're going to be talking about. But every Wednesday at 2:30 we do a live stream, and we talk about 2 different comic book artists. The last week was David Mazzucchelli and Michael Turner, and then I put them in a poll, and they're going head to head. And so go to the poll and check it out, and cast yourself a vote for what artists you like, and maybe give us a comment as to why you like them better than the other one. I really love to hear that kind of stuff. So anyway, have yourselves a great weekend, and I'll see you when I see you, and keep on creating.